Salutations, Serjavians. It is Serjay Svek signing in for yet another stream. And today we are just going to do a bit more of a relaxing stream with Clubhouse games for the Nintendo Switch. And as you can see here, I've got a brand new microphone, so I wasn't able to go on stream yesterday because I was busy trying to test out the microphone and try to make it work. So hopefully you guys will, so please, if you have any feedback for the microphone, kindly let me know in the chat so I'll be able to take that into account and improve on my further stream. So with that said, also, feel free if you have any further, if you wish to have any further updates, feel free to visit me on Serjay Svek on my YouTube or Twitter, or you can visit my Discord channel, Serjavian Nation. Just use the chat commands on my About page on Twitch and you can go ahead and check my social. Alright, let's go ahead and dive into some Clubhouse games. Transition to the game screen. Okay then, so let's go ahead and just, have a relaxing stream, some games. You never game without some water, of course. It is Wednesday, beginning, or rather the middle of the week, so happy Wednesday, everybody. Hope you guys are coping well in the middle of the week. And let's go ahead and just play some... Let's always start with some Mahjong.
I know one thing about...
Let's see. I used to, or rather, I never really played this game. It was my mother and her friends that used to love playing this game before, and it's something that the one thing that I really remembered when I was a boy was playing it, or rather not playing it, listening to them play it, and then the clacking of the tiles on the table, and they would always get so excited whenever that would happen. I never really understood it myself, so it's only now when I got Clubhouse games that I actually understood what Riichi Mahjong was all about. And for those of you who are watching, this is Japanese rules, so this is not following like Chinese, American, or Philippine rules. I still gotta discard something, so let's remove this 7 of circles.
Pawn.
2 more to Tenpai, meaning 2 more tiles removed, so I'll be able to move 2. So I'm just waiting for that last magical tile to let me win the game. I am actually, so before I was streaming, I did some exercising. I was just on my exercise bike. And the whole time I was there, I was listening a bunch of people reading from the Song of Ice and Fire audiobooks. And I do remember that it is now, it has now been 1 year. Myla says, I love the sensation of the tapping sounds between the 2 Mahjong tiles and how they invited me to bite them. Just you, maybe? You were allowed to bite them? That's a very interesting side story there, Mylas, and welcome to the stream. Now, it's been 1 year, actually, since the Game of Thrones series ended. I remember very well that there was a lot of controversy when it came to the ending of that series. People were up in arms about that, and for me, I wasn't really affected by it because I was a book reader. I started with A Song of Ice and Fire books, so I personally was not that invested with a TV show. But still, I understand that a lot of people were affected by it, and I understand too why it caused such an uproar.
Pawn.
I was reading, Mila said, no, the texture and plastic smoothness made me want to bite them. Same with domino tiles. I see. Yeah, there's just something about the texture of Mahjong tiles and domino tiles that make them just, so inviting, especially when you clack them together. It's amazing. For a number, just to switch topics for a bit, for a number of us growing up, there was this local company called MB, if I recall it correctly. They're the ones that take care of crafting our local game boards, so things like chess or Scrabble or things like that. And we grew up used to wooden chess pieces, wooden Scrabble tiles, wooden. I'm not sure if Dominoes was that popular, but mostly those games: Scrabble, chess, games of the generals, and but it was made of steel. That one, but yeah. So we didn't have the luxury of like plastic chessboards, plastic Scrabble tiles. They were not that common, based on what I remember. But I do like the smell of the wooden pieces. It just hits different, especially maybe it's because they used like a special kind of varnish or something. So that definitely evoked a different kind of memory for me. Now, going back to the show, to the Game of Thrones TV show, it caused so much, a lot of scandal, a lot of trouble back in the day, and I can imagine, because a lot of people were invested in that, and then I think they were planning to make a prequel series on the Long Night of Westeros, so that was way before the current timeline. It was Khan, nice.
Khan.
Okay, so I'll get rid of this because it's yellow, so that this means that if I keep it and I make a winning hand, then I'll be able to get more points. So they were planning to make a prequel, but I think it was cancelled. And I can see why, because there's not much material from George R.R. Martin about the Long Night. But I would like a prequel series based on the Targaryen dynasty. The old kings and everything. George R.R. Martin even wrote a book called Fire and Blood, actually. It was the history of the previous dynasty, the Targaryen kings, all the way to Aerys, the final one. And I think that there's a lot more material that can be used there to make a prequel series if ever they wanted to. I think that's pretty much the closest we can get to getting there, because unfortunately, much has been said about George R.R. Martin's writing pace. And I don't know if we'll be expecting a new book anytime soon. The last book was what was it called? After A Feast for Crows. It was just the fifth book. I know that much. It was the fifth book, and after that, it was in 2011, and we haven't had a new book ever since. From what I know, I don't think we have seen The Winds of Winter yet. So yeah. Milo says, nah, it's just that TV producers of Game of Thrones rushing to end the show, I guess. Plus, they surpassed the source material, so that kind of showed their true colors in terms of skin. They needed George that much.
Tenpai. There's
a point in that, true. Because, from what I remember, those guys, they were called D&D. They were planning to do something related to Star Wars. I may, correct me if I'm wrong, but something to that effect. So they didn't have much time, so they just wanted to end the show, and because of that, it showed in the end product. Now, that really reminds me of what happened with, like, Boardwalk Empire, which was, like, the other big HBO series before the Game of Thrones, or during the early time of the Game of Thrones. Miles said they were planning that show before Valyria burst into flames. Not sure what happened to it. Maybe that's the one that supposedly got canceled. Miles. Anyway, but yeah, it's pretty much natural, especially if you overtake the source material. For someone like me who has grown up reading manga and watching anime, that is an all too common occurrence. The showrunners of the TV show, for example, are faced with a very important choice, and a very serious one. Do they wait for the writer, let's say George R.R. Martin, to catch up? Do they make filler? Or do they make their own ending just to, be done with it, move on, and then with something else? It's a difficult choice, and I can see, and it's really not easy trying to make that, especially if you make an alternate ending. You're rushing to an alternate end from what the source material could possibly be. But I think what made things a lot worse was supposedly that George R.R. Martin said, okay, in case anything happens, I'll tell you what the ending is going to be. And then the ending of the Game of Thrones series came to be, and then people were suddenly wondering, is that what we're building up to in the books? Because, so many things happen. At least for those who just read the books like me. I never watched the TV show, except for maybe 1 or 2 clips. But, those who read the books are wondering, what? Is that really what's happening? Or at least that's what I thought. And, well, that's the hard part of it, I guess. But again, there are many factors that went into that change and why people reacted that way. And again, it's all understandable, especially if you were very invested in the show. For someone like me, though, who is only reading the books, there's also the additional danger of the fact that, well, the show had an ending. It was not a satisfying ending, to be sure, but it was an ending. So the next question is, so what happens next? For us who just read the books, like, do we then consider the TV show canon at this point? There are many things to think about, but yeah, we'll see what the direction goes on the TV show and all the related material released by George R.R. Martin. Okay. Mila said, but still, even with the bad final season, we still can't deny the show's 8 years of impact on television. It was an Avenger franchise level. It just ended on a bad note, unfortunately, and that is true. I can say this because for many years, a lot of my friends were really, really looking forward to every single season of the TV show that came out. Whenever a new season would come out, people would be glued to their TV sets, and then they would go watch. I think, based on my experience, that Game of Thrones became a cultural phenomenon. People based their years around it. For those who were really avid fans of it, they would hold watchathons, bars. Local bars would even have their own watchathons, if I recall correctly. There were many things, so this was so big. And again, that's what I'm just basing it on what I understand. That's also why it caused such a huge uproar when it finally ended. Yeah, let's take this. Okay. Let's throw this. Maybe when I fix my microphone some more, I can actually book reading. I would like to do audiobook reading, actually. It sounds like a fun activity. What do I need? Throw this away. Give me a 2, a 4, and a 6. A 2 and a 4, please. Or a 4.
10 pie.
Alright, anyway. So was it. Mostly when it came to what I was doing earlier today. And my goodness. That would be cool, Mila says. Your audio sounds nice right now. Oh, thank you for that, Mila. I appreciate it. I was worrying all morning regarding this because, you know, when you get a new microphone, you have to figure out, oh, what do the filters sound like? What does this and that and sound like? The equalizer. I've never touched an equalizer before. Actually. The only time I ever touched an equalizer or even seen a music or sound equalizer rather was in the way olden days of Windows 95. Way before Windows 10. Windows 95, Windows 98. Before we had iTunes, before we had Windows Media Player, we had Winamp. And Winamp was, well, like what I said, that's what you use to play your music. And it had a really cool layout. You can actually customize your layouts, and it could be very colorful. And my brother is the music. He's more familiar when it comes to music and stuff. So, he was the one who always arranged his music equalizer to always be in a V shape. And being the younger brother, I thought, hey, I'm just gonna follow his example because he probably knows what he's doing. It was only when I finally started streaming that I realized that it's not a rule set in stone. You have to adjust the equalizer and everything to your own voice. And there are other factors too, like ambient sound and everything, so for the first time in many months, I have to stream without the electric fan on, because the electric fan is just so close to me. But in order to remove the ambient noise, and so I don't have to rely on a noise suppressor, I have to turn it off. So they're just things that you just learn along the way. But hopefully, with all of these measures that I'm taking, I'm still able to deliver something that at least you guys can enjoy.
Pawn.
We're probably gonna finish this hand and then maybe we'll try something else like billiards or something. Because I know that Mahjong is not the easiest thing to get into. I am aware of that. Like I said, it only took me until now when I got this game that I actually figured out, oh, this is what Mahjong is like. Okay, I'll give the 8 away. Because 5 is yellow, so that means it's worth more points. So if I can get a 6 of bamboo, even better. Take the 5 away.
Pawn.
I don't know what they're actually planning to do on HBO now that Game of Thrones is gone. But because everyone now is talking about The Mandalorian now, that is the new big TV show, or the new big show rather, that's got everybody invested, so
Pawn.
I think it's doing pretty well for itself, especially since Pedro Pascal is now, seems to be doing a great job in his role as Mando.
3G.
Imagine that. Pedro Pascal, Oberyn Martell, changing after his unfortunate passing. Oberyn Martell became the Mandalorian. Oh, no. Before he became the Mandalorian, Oberyn Martell reincarnated as a police officer. And and then in the Narcos TV show, in the Narcos show, and then he reincarnated again to the Mandalorian. Let's see. Let's just get rid of this thing. Oh, I shouldn't have gotten rid of the 5. I should have gotten rid of the 3. Anyway. One of my favorite things that I like to do is try to connect the roles of the different people on TV shows or movies to their other roles. So, let's say, for example, Prince of Egypt. Prince of Egypt is one of my favorite movies, and I think of all the DreamWorks movies, Prince of Egypt is my favorite. And what I would like to say is this. So, Moses was played by... Moses was played by 90s Batman. I forgot off the top of my head which one of the 90s Batmen there were, because there were many Batmen on movies back in the 90s or the 80s or 90s, and I forgot which one it was. It definitely wasn't George Clooney, that's for sure. It's just one of those guys. So Prince Moses was 90s Batman, and then he married Zipporah, who was portrayed by Michelle Pfeiffer, who in the 90s was Catwoman, and then you may know her in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as Janet Pym, the original Wasp. And then and their father was Set, played by Sir Patrick Stewart, who played Professor X from the X-Men movies. And then who else was that? Moses' brother was Ramesses, and Ramesses was portrayed by Ralph Fiennes. And Ralph Fiennes is the new M of what's this? Was the new M in the James Bond movies. And he is also Lord Voldemort of Harry Potter. So to connect that, I would say, okay, so Prince of Egypt is about 90s Batman being the brother of Lord Voldemort. He runs away, and then he gets married to 90s Catwoman. And then their father, Professor X, after he passes away, Lord Voldemort becomes the new ruler. And then that's it's just something that, you know, I like to do, because I like to see, like, oh, this person does this person does that. Imagine how this person managed to become like that, you know? This? I'll throw this one. Hey.
Pon.
The reason why I was talking about why I didn't like, or I was worried about having to turn off my electric fan when I'm streaming is because it was absurdly hot earlier. Even though it's December now, it's still quite hot here. And it was especially humid earlier, and I was wondering why it was the case. Turns out, well, it was about to rain, and it poured. So that would explain everything. Mila says, those are really satisfying banded tabletops. Yeah, that's true. I think that's felt tabletops. Those feel wonderful. Billiard tables, mahjong tables like those, they are nice. But in some places, you just have to deal with like a plastic sheet that you put over it. The same type of plastic sheet that we would normally use to cover our notebooks when we were in school. It was something that, it was sort of like a ritual every summer, because before school would start in June, in my day, We would buy our notebooks, we would buy our books, and then we would spend many an hour trying to cover them in plastic, just to make sure that they would always be okay. And I used to have some difficulty with it because I couldn't make the plastic sheet, go flat around the corners. So it took me a lot of time to actually learn that I need to like press my nail around the corners so that it would fold properly. It's just one of those things that you learn when you're growing up.
Pawn. Pawn.
And there was a time too that I just became, I said, you know what? There's no point in covering these in plastic anymore because I'm not going to school anyway. I'm not going out, so what's the point? But then I realized, there is something special about having your notebooks or your books covered in plastic because it feels like it gives them new life. Especially if they already have like a bunch of scratches or stuff like that. Unfortunately, you cannot remove those. But the fact of the matter is that when you finally cover them in plastic, give them the care and protection that they need, it feels like you've breathed new life into them.
Pawn.
That's what makes it special, in my opinion.
Sumo.
Okay, so that's it for Mahjong. Let's go ahead and try something else. Okay, we're out of here. We're folding. Oh, sorry. We're folding. Let's try something else. Looking for that game. Where is that game? Something that doesn't need the Joy-Con. Where's the billiard tape? Where's the billiards game? Ah, there we go.
Billiards. Now that they're... Billiards.
There we go. I learned that no tape on the cover itself, wrapping up books and notebooks from you. Oh, okay. Well, that's good. That's good that you recalled that, Milas. That's nice to know. Let's lower down the difficulty. For the longest time, I did not know what 8-ball was. I kept thinking that it was just 8 balls, but why are there 15 balls? So, well, we'll just go by 9-ball. Classic 9-ball. I remember as a kid, I would spend nights watching billiards on TV. Because there was this one guy who became world famous as our national billiards champion. His name is Efren. I didn't mean to do that. Anyway, his name was Efren Bata Reyes. We called him Bata. That's his nickname. But internationally, his name was known as the Magician. And that was a well-earned nickname because he did make he made those billiard balls just fly and go everywhere. He did a lot of amazing things during his tenure. One of the things that I remember when I first saw him in action, that was against, I think, Earl the Pearl Strickland. Yeah, I remember now. Earl the Pearl Strickland. I remember that pretty well because Earl the Pearl, I think that was Earl the Pearl. He was a very serious fellow, but I could tell why, because the prize money was a lot. Anybody could be serious at that moment. But Efren, Bata, he was always smiling, no matter what he did. And yeah, eventually he won the match, and that's what one of those matches that catapulted him into international stardom. there was this other guy, famous for billiards in our country. His name is Django. To quote the Django Unleashed movie and the original Django movie, the spaghetti western, the D is silent. Django Bustamante, whose I'm not sure if he had a nickname, but just give me a drink of water, I'll explain. Oh, my mistake. His real name is Francisco. Francisco, nickname Django. Django Bustamante. And Milo said, "Oh yeah, the Efren the Wizard." But he corrected himself. It's Efren the. Yep, that's true. Now Django, he's unlike Efren Bata Reyes, who was like the guy who could make the cue ball fly and then do curves around the edges. Django was most famous for his beginning break shot, because whenever it was his turn, he would always draw back and then whoosh, and then whenever he would do that, he would pop his leg right behind him, as though the very act would give the shot more kick to it. Oh, I missed. But yeah, you see that's the strength behind that shot I just did. That's exactly what he would do, and then it would be like popping his leg. He would be popping his leg right behind him. That's one of the things that he was really known for. I think Bata is retired now. He had like a last match recently because he couldn't not sure exactly what the reason is, but yeah, he can't really do the thing that much anymore, but that's okay. He's leaving a sporting life and a career rich with accolades. Strickland at the time looked like a British villain hunter. Well, as a kid, I wasn't really sure why he was so serious, but when I grew up, I understood that there was a lot on the line, so it was understandable, why he would become a bit serious, especially with what was at stake. But nowadays, I don't think they have much to say about the billiard circuit nowadays. Most of the time, when it comes to Philippine recognition in international sports, it's mostly just through boxing. So there's that. Aw, man. That was a foul? Okay. Oh, he's just showing off. The CPU is just showing off right there. That's not... What? Okay. Fine, show off. I remember when I was a kid, because we did have an NES, a family computer, and one of the games that my sister and brother loved, or that my siblings loved at the time, was what's this? Corner. I think I hesitate because I'm trying to remember if it was really corner or side pocket. But yeah, that was like the game that they loved to play back in the NES days. You could play billiards, and sometimes there would be bonus levels. Aw, man! That happened again. Too strong. So every once in a while, there would be a bonus level, and then there would be things like, make sure you shoot between the 2 rows of glasses, don't break the glasses, that sort of thing. Make the ball, ride the ball against another cue stick, that sort of stuff. As a kid, I was not really interested in that because I was more interested in playing Contra. Contra, the original Super Mario Brothers, and Mega Man. Mega Man 1. I'll tell you, I was never that good with with any of the Mega Man games. Whether it's classic Mega Man, Mega Man Legends, Mega Man X, what have you. But it was just fun. And again, the music is what usually made me want to keep going back to it. Because, especially when it comes to Mega Man X, its soundtrack, I love the intense rock that mostly played, the intense music that kept playing during the stages. My favorite in particular was Mega Man X5, because that was supposed to be the finale to the series. And there was a nice bunch of variety of music there. But what amused me most was the final stage, because for those who don't know, the Mega Man series, traditionally there's like the final stage comes in different phases. So in the first three phases of that final stage, it was very serious, mournful music. And then in the final part of that final phase of that stage, it sounds like a rave party. For those who are interested, go search Mega Man X5 Zero Space. Zero Space 4 or Cyberspace 4, because that you'll understand what I'm talking about. You're trying to save the world from utter destruction, but it sounds like a rave party. Mila says they should combine boxing and billiards. Actually, there was something I saw, I'm not sure if it's even legit, but there was a YouTube video before when they would combine boxing and chess. So they would box for a while. I'm not sure how the order went, but they would box and then they would play chess, a couple of moves of chess after a while. So it happens. There really are some weird combination sports that have happened before. I mean, for me too, I did not understand what was the point of having a decathlon, because that was just pure suffering in my opinion. You know, having to go through all 10 of those events by yourself. Not my cup of tea. But for those people who, now I'm older and I've seen those people who go through those Iron Man challenges, those decathlons or triathlons or what have you. They really are amazing people. Mega Man said, Milos said he only played the first one, but the concept of it, which is stealing powers and everything in the music, stuck to me. Indeed iconic. Yep. And I think it definitely, the iconic nature of that game series finally was recognized, because they did release Mega Man 11 a couple of years ago. So we're only waiting to see if there is still going to release Mega Man X9. But then again, I do believe that the story of Mega Man really should have ended with Mega Man X5. It seemed like the perfect ending. But from apparently what happened, they went behind the director's back and then they created Mega Man X6. They rushed it. Which is why when they played it, it seemed like everything was rushed, especially with the level design. And I can see why, because holy cow, the level design of Mega Man X6 just made me want to throw my controller every single time. But you know, it's like that video from ProZD. You want to throw your controller, but controllers are expensive. So he lifts his controller, he goes, "What the?" And then he just gently places it down on the table. Unfortunately for most of us, none of us can afford to toss our controllers in a fit of rage. So I just bore it silently. But I think the best thing that I ever did with Mega Man X6 was turn it off, because I said, you know what, I'm not getting anywhere with this, so I might as well just turn it off. Okay. I don't know where how it's like with you guys from any other countries, if ever. But billiards is a very popular thing to play, especially in bars and stuff like that. So yeah, it's something, it's very popular, especially if you want to hang out with friends and stuff. Just make sure that you guys don't play it after a few rounds of drinks. People can get very rowdy. And Mila says, oh, you can't do that to the DualSense controller. It's sacrilegious. Yes, I would understand why, Milas. And I think just clear things up for me. DualSense is now what they call the PS5 controllers, right? Because for the longest time, they've been using DualShock. I certainly can't toss my Joy-Cons too, even though they're drifting even more than initial D driver. I keep hearing tips about how to fix your Joy-Con drifting. Does you need like things like compressed air? I don't know how. I'm not sure where I can find compressed air. Like a compressed air can or something like that, but if I can, I'll try to fix my drifting, because holy cow, if I play without my controller, my goodness. If you've ever heard of those initial D memes like gas running in the 90s and stuff like that, my controller, my Joy-Cons can do that and more. Miles says that the DualSense is the most advanced controller right now. Ah, yes. Now thank you for clarifying that. I know that I personally will not buy a PlayStation 5, but wow, okay. All right, so let's try another game. I personally will not buy a PlayStation 5, but if ever I did, if ever I had plans to, I think I'd rather just wait until much later. Because knowing the PlayStation, they do have their slim version, their pro version, and everything like that. So sometimes it's good to wait, in my opinion. Kind of like me regarding me and fighting games in particular. Because fighting games now come with a lot of editions. Say, for instance, Capcom with Street Fighter and NRS with Mortal Kombat. So they keep coming with new editions like Champion Edition, Ultimate Edition, and stuff like that. So sometimes it's just better to wait. Sure, you're not going to be among the first to try the new content, but at least you don't have to keep paying for the new stuff. Let's see, trying to find a good game.
Blackjack.
Hey, we're going for blackjack, peeps.
I'll be the dealer.
You know what they said back in the day for one of my favorite K-pop songs, or one of the country's favorite K-pop songs, The Dine. 21. I was not really a big fan of K-pop, but I do, so I am unfamiliar with a bunch of stuff like BTS and stuff like that. The only things I know of are Psy. Back in the day when he took over the world with Gangnam Style. And and then there was also, who were those girls that sang, or who was that group that sang Nobody But You? That's them. They took over the country by storm in their time. And also
Hit.
Nuts. Okay. And also what else? Girls' Generation, their only song that I know was G, who was shared to me by a friend of mine. And Sistar's Shake It. Pity though about Sistar. Oh yes, thank you, Wonder Girls. Wonder Girls were the ones that sang "Nobody But You," and they were popular in the country also, in fact, because they had English lyrics, at least for that part of the song. So that made it a lot easier. There was a dance craze for that back in the day.
Hit.
18, nice. I'll stand.
Stand.
So, yeah, K-pop was not really something big on my radar. For most of my... Wow, we lost. For most of my life, I just ended up listening to fighting game music in particular. I did listen to other video game music, but fighting games were a big part of my life. I think it was a lot easier for fighting game music because it's, you know, it's something that easily repeats. The same rhythmic beats, so you don't really have to listen to lyrics or anything like that. It's just go again, then you can just figure out the rest.
Stand.
But it was only like a couple of years ago that I finally got interested in other types of music. Wow, 21. The thing that made me branch out to other kinds of music was actually David Cutter music. If you guys listen to my intro and my outro, they're both by David Cutter music. The intro is called Bits, and the outro, based on what the singer says, is Honey. Both by David Cutter. And from David Cutter's music, for those of you who keep up with the vlogging scene, because David Cutter is one of those people that lets people use his music. You might have heard of his music being played by Casey Neistat, the famous YouTube blogger.
Hit.
Oh, man. Anyway, so David Cutter was the one that opened the floodgates for me, because when he was doing... So he did a bunch of collabs with the other artists too. So from him came Casey Andre, and then from Casey Andre came Joachim Carrad, then on and on and on. My last 10, let's do something about it. Aw. Why would I double down? We stand. Yes, finally. Fourth place, wow, okay. Okay. I think we'll play one more game before we end this. Thanks. Aim well and hit the bullseye. Can I play this? Some of these games really need Joy-Cons. That's the hard part. Okay, we'll play this one.
Hit and blow.
Also called Mastermind.
What's all this?
It's a game where you guess at a set of hidden pegs.
Oh, fun.
Here's how it works. A brown peg means you have the right color in the right spot, like a direct hit.
With you so far?
A white peg means you've got the right color, but in the wrong place, or a glancing blow.
So this means you have all 4 colors right, but only 2 are in the right place.
Exactly. Let's assume red's in the right spot. What happens if I try this?
Does that tell us anything?
Well, what if I switch them around like so?
Oh yeah, that's pretty much the rules for the benefit of those who are not familiar with the game. Let's play. Mila says, that game. I used to just insert the pegs without knowing what the game is about. I just designed the pegs. Yeah. I mean, as a kid, I didn't know them either, so I just decided, you know what, let's just pick whatever pegs, and then hopefully let's see what is here, you know? Oh, sorry. No. Always put red. There's probably red in there.
2 hits, 0 blows.
Okay, so we put the blue here. Sorry.
2 hits,
Uh-oh.
2 blows.
Now we're talking. So blue and green are definitely in the same spot. Now we just gotta switch. Oh yeah.
4 hits.
Oh yeah. I'm good. Okay, for the last one, we're gonna play something that Mila says, oh yeah, so it's just perfecting the order before you run out of columns? Okay, yes, that's correct.
Hit
Let's
and
play it
blow.
one more time. Let's see if it's not a fluke after all. For me, I just had a lot of fun playing with the pegs because they were really colorful. It's just like Mahjong back in the day. I didn't know what was going on, so I decided, you know what, let's just play. No. And maybe move the white here and put something else.
2 hits, 1 blow.
Okay, so red and green are definitely in the right place, from what I can tell. No. Must think. I wonder if I can actually hear the people in the background screaming. Let's try this order.
1 hit, 2 blows.
Okay, let's try this.
One
What?
hit, 1 blow.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. Put the yellow here, just like in the first. And you put here. Ah!
1 hit, 2 blows.
Okay, so it seems that I'm not able to do a lot of thinking, or rather a lot of talking outside of the subject from here, but yes. You know, it reminds me of Battleship. Like a single-player version of Battleship, now that I think about it. And the thing is, I remember a few years ago, they actually made a Battleship movie. So, it was just kind of hilarious to see it in action.
One hit, 2 blows.
The last color needs to be changed. Is this the part where we rage quit? Is this the part where I throw my Joy-Con into the wall? Blue then yellow. I'm lost already. Okay, we'll try your way. Let's see. Oh no!
Hit, one blow.
Final chance. It's the final peg countdown. We're just gonna go randomize this whole thing. Let's see. Oh.
One hit, two blows.
So after all this time, I thought it was green and red and green, but it's actually green and yellow. Oh well. Oh well, we ain't lucky at all times. So for now, okay, we'll just end with toy boxing because it's funny. Milo said stupid pegs. Yeah, it's not really the easiest game, but we're gonna try this. We're gonna go. I'm playing toy boxing because we're gonna go all JoJo's Bizarre Adventure on everybody. And if you haven't watched JoJo's Bizarre Adventure yet or read the manga, please do. It's fun. I'm in blue.
Fight.
Oh no, 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 no. Oh wow! Yeah, you can do counter punches like that, see? Oh no 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 no! Oh no! Oh no 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 no! Ow! Oh no 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 no! Oh no 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 no! Now we're gonna move up to the next difficulty. Let's see how our wailing punch strategy is gonna turn out.
Fight.
Oh no 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 no! Yada 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 yada. Okay, this is getting annoying. So ow! Ow! Guy, relax. I can do this all day. I never had one of those like Rock'em Sock'em robots, but I do remember them being featured in Toy Story 2. That was my favorite of the Toy Story movies. I think there was oh yeah, there was a fourth released recently. But yeah, Toy Story 2 greatly expanded on what was happening with Toy Story 1, and I enjoyed it the most. Just standing up to stretch because, of course, when you've been sitting down for a long time, you need to go stretch those muscles. Just like I'm gonna stretch my muscles on this person's face. Oh, wait. I need to go up on the difficulty, I promise. Sorry. Amazing difficulty.
Fight.
Oh, I'm just gently poking him. Ow, wow, we countered each other. Come on, open up so I can counter you. I just need to push him a bit further. Oh no! He pushed me back. Oh no, come on. Is it a tie? Wow, it's a tie. For the first time, I've actually gotten a tie. Well, well, well. Never got a tie game before, actually. But we'll try that one more time. This purple guy is really, really something. This is not relaxing with Clubhouse games anymore. This is... this is struggling. Oh! Come, come, come. The audience is watching. Yes! Open up your jaw. Yes! Yes! Look at that. Woo, boy, what a struggle. Okay, so now we are moving to the final challenge. Impossible. Just be careful. Ow! Whoa, whoa, whoa. You see that punch he did? Sent me back flying a mile. Come on, give me that punching power. No! I'm at the edge. At the edge. I will not let you knock me down. No! Oh. Too bad. Milo said I did the parry right this time, but yeah, it was not enough to beat the impossible CPU. So we'll just leave with our heads down. But that's it. I think that's already good enough for now. This is Clubhouse games for the Nintendo Switch, and maybe I can try some other games like Yacht Dice, which is just Yahtzee, Chinese checkers. I have no idea how to play backgammon, but I've seen it on TV before. And maybe chess, but I'm terrible at chess, so we'll see what we can do in the future for that. But in the meantime, I would like to say thanks everybody for watching. Let's transition to the outro screen. Okay, so thanks again for everybody for watching and for enjoying the show. I hope you guys were able to have fun with my discussions about the different topics that I had, and until then, I would like to encourage you to go visit me down below at the different sites that I have. So I am Serjay Svek on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. You can catch the VOD of this stream on YouTube if you missed it, and Facebook and Twitter are for different announcements. I'm also available on Instagram under the same name, Serjay Svek. And if you want to see my current streams or when I next go live, search for Serjay Svek Twitch. And feel free to follow me at the Discord channel, the Serjavian Nation. So let me just go ahead and put that there for your benefit. So if you guys have any feedback or anything else you would like to share, feel free to send it to the chat or send me a message in the Serjavian Nation Discord. So the information is all there on the About area of my page, and you can feel free to let me know what's going on, and then drop by, send a message, post pictures of food, or pets or animals or what have you. So until then, I would like to say thanks everybody for watching. Salutations, Serjavians. This is Serjay Svek. You take care, everybody, and as always, stay safe. Transition to the outro.